Firstly, I want to thank you for accepting my request and accepting to be on my show.
No problem. That's really my pleasure. So, am I audible to you?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can see you. Can you please put your camera a little upwards so that you will fit on the camera so that viewers can watch it. Yeah, this is great.
Uh,
Yeah. So thank you. You're the first person from Pakistan to be on my show.
yes, it's really pleasure to me. When I watch your videos on your Instagram, I, really feel excited to talk with you. So, I'm literally excited.
Before talking about the thing that we have decided, I want to introduce you to my audience and to the world who watches
Yeah.
this video from anywhere on this planet.
Okay,
So,
sure. Um,
can
so,
you please
can I
introduce yourself?
start?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, uh, Basically, my name is Varda Liakar. I am from Pakistan, and I am a student of BS Software Engineering, and from my Surgoda University from Surgoda. So this is my last year of my degree. So and I am basically working with AWS Cloud and many non-profit organizations like to empower the women of my country and to work something for my country, working with many non-profit organizations as well, to serve the students, to serve my country, to serve my fellows. And this is basically my work. And I love to do that, to do a lot of volunteer work. That is actually my passion. And I'm doing that. So, as you mentioned, I'm basically, in 2020, I was selected as the AWS Educate Student Ambassador from Pakistan. So, from Pakistan, we were, total 16 ambassadors, and I was the only girl who was selected from Pakistan as an ambassador. So, it was really kind of proud or pride for me. So, I am really excited about this thing.
Have you done any cloud certification?
Um, Not a proper certification, like not from Amazon, but I got AWS Cloud Practitioner certification from Udemy and from these kind of platforms, but not officially from Amazon, not yet.
So
I'm
actually,
preparing for that.
okay. Yeah, go on.
Yes.
So I found you on AWS Instagram. You have you're following the official Amazon Web Services account and Instagram. So I found you. So I thought to exchange words about that subject so that it will be useful for me. At the same time, it will be useful for you.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So
So, yes,
I myself have completed masters in software engineering, and
oh, great.
yeah, so I do this video series I just started as a we know we are into the tech. We know how to create the videos and how to create all these things. Why not we create? So I started this non-technical and started exchanging words with England, Germany, all the country people about talking about their experiences and talking about their subjects. Some person talks about marine biology, some person talks about like space, some person talks about like they have different subjects. So I thought this is the first time who is related to I'm talking with the person who is related to my subject.
Yeah, that's really amazing. The first thing that I would like to mention, when I watch your videos, I literally found your idea. Then it's really amazing that what you are doing. It's really amazing, different and unique idea. I literally, you are the one whom I see like doing. So first of all, I really appreciate that. It's really amazing to talk with different persons from different areas, different countries, with different. So it's really amazing. First of all, keep it up. Well done.
Thank you. I'm sure a lot of people who are into tech will watch this video. So we'll talk about the cloud. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, Yes, sure. It's okay.
Yeah, I have sent you some questions yesterday. So can I talk? Can I ask one by one?
Yes, sure. So, as I am working with cloud from last 5 to 6 months, so I practiced some, common services of AWS like EC2, S3, Elastic Beanstalk. So I have a little bit experience with these services. So I'll try to answer your questions fully.
Okay. I'm new to this, so I wrote in my book. So, firstly, my question to you is introduction to cloud computing. What is cloud computing?
Okay, so first of all, the simplest definition, according to me, of cloud computing would be the delivery of IT resources through the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing model. This could be the simplest definition of cloud computing. Like we are delivering our, IT resources through the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing model. Like you will be paying about what you're consuming or what you are using. So this could be a simplest definition we can say about cloud computing.
So, IT resources. What are IT resources?
Okay, so IT resources like we have different organizations, different companies who are working with some technical domains, like who are technical businesses, working with technology. So if they want to transfer their business to internet or cloud, so these could be kind of IT resources like their databases, their applications, so they can run even more better on cloud as compared to on premises. That would be easy for them, to work.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, it was interrupted. So my question is, what was online business before cloud and after cloud?
Sorry, what was that?
What companies used to do before cloud, and what is companies are doing after cloud?
Okay, so without cloud companies, used to set up their own infrastructure, buy a building, buy some computing, resources like servers or like computers, set up all the things, on premises physically, on create their setup like locally. So by using cloud, they are able to just go online within minutes, within seconds. They can create their databases, they can buy servers, they can use them even without second. So it's just created a lot of difference as compared to on premises or on cloud. So it's just amazing working with cloud.
So what is the advantages and benefits of cloud computing?
Um, there are a lot of benefits that we can talk about. So the first one could be about cost. So if companies, create their own infrastructure locally, it's gonna cost them a lot as compared to cloud computing. Like they are buying their whole infrastructure by themselves, buying hardwares, buying servers, or if they are doing this, then they need to update them accordingly. As we know that technology changes are coming day by day, so they need to update them also, and it's gonna add a lot of cost. So if they are using cloud, uh, their cost or their expenses are less. They can use the already available resources, they can buy them for a period that they want, and they can just use them. So the cost is the first benefit could be. So another benefit of updation of softwares, of systems. So that could be the second benefit, because they do not want to monitor or manage their resources or their systems, their everything. So management could also be removed at very at very high time. So or yeah, that could be another, I guess.
So what I understood is these days the companies are shifting. to cloud because they want to save their time and energy rather than putting their energy and mind on how to maintain the physical resources. They
Yeah,
can just
when
spend their mind on just on their business, not on the physical how to manage it.
yeah,
The cloud is going to manage everything. Everything the
yeah,
cloud is going to provide them. They can just
yeah, they can, mhm.
put
They can
them.
just focus on innovation. They can just focus on innovating their business rather than maintaining their business. They can focus on
Exactly.
innovation. How they can more innovate, or how can they can create more innovation in their business. So
Okay.
that would be.
So, is there any data center in your country? AWS data
Uh,
center?
no, I guess there is no data center in Pakistan. Not yet.
How many data centers are there in the world?
Yeah, I'm not sure properly about it, but I guess there could be some 117 or 16. No,
175
I'm not.
yesterday.
I'm not sure about the exact figure.
175 data centers are there. So, uh, what is the difference? How many regions are there in the world? AWS regions.
Okay, so I'm you can say very bad at numbers. So if I do not revise these things, so I just start forgetting the numbers, exact numbers. So I'm not sure how it could be, like, not properly sure about it.
Yeah, even I don't know. The data centers are about 175. The regions are like there are regions in US and in India and Canada, in Europe. There are regions
Yeah.
uh, in all the countries almost. In my city, Hyderabad. I live in Hyderabad. I'm sure one another Hyderabad is there in Pakistan. So I live in Indian Hyderabad.
Yes, 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 we have also.
So in this Hyderabad,
So,
AWS recently said that they are going to start another data center in my city.
yes, yes, yes. I also heard that AWS is also going to create a data center in Pakistan very soon. So let's
Okay.
see.
Do you know why they put data center? What are the things that they see before they wanted to put the data center there? Do you know?
Yes, it could be like the whole world is just going towards innovation. Pakistan is also working in technical domain, so I guess it could be a reason that they need to put a data center in different regions, and so I guess that's why they're also thinking to put a data center in Pakistan too, because we are also moving towards that technology. So that could be a reason.
I mean, about the climatic conditions, why they select a particular place in the on this planet? Why? There are a lot of places in the world, right? Why? Because
Yes.
I'll tell you, I came to know that because where there are less earthquakes, where are less natural disasters, where there are like comfortable environment, they will select those places and they will put data centers so that they even if a natural calamity comes there, there are less chances in that particular place. So that's why they want to save
Yes.
their complete storage information, everything. So they will select particular places, like very
Okay.
very specific places.
Hmm. Yes, yes, you are right. Yes, that could be.
Yeah. And I will ask you. So you are a practitioner already. I am zero. I know nothing.
No, no. I am just also, practicing, not a perfect in this, domain, but I'm trying and searching.
Nice. So introduction, you said why cloud computing we had talked already. Benefits we you said already. So what are the
Yeah.
public cloud, private cloud? What is hybrid cloud? What are these clouds?
Okay, so we have almost three types of cloud: public, private, and hybrid. So the public cloud is basically visible to all, like everyone can access this. Internet traffic can also come to public cloud. But if we talk about private cloud, then in private cloud is just limited to us, like limited to our organization. No one can access it. Who is not from uh, our organization, like who no one can access it through the internet. Like it is private to us, like to limited persons. So if we talk about hybrid cloud, it's become a combination of both public and private. It just became after the combination of these two clouds.
Okay. So what are service models? There are three service models, right?
Yeah,
IaaS and PaaS and SaaS. What are those?
yeah. So yeah, we have some service model. The most popular are IaaS, infrastructure as a service, or platform as a service, and software as a service. So these three are most common, services. So the first, if we talk about the software as a service, SaaS, SaaS. So if we come to know about its example, then we can consider Gmail as a software service, like cloud computing or AWS provide a complete package to us. We do not know about the back end of this, or we do not know to interpret this. We are just using. We are just using
Yeah.
it like Gmail. We are just using. They provided us a software and we are just using it. So this is an example of software as a service. Like it is a service model. They provide us a complete package, a complete software. We are just using it. We are just working with it. We do not need to understand the backup or infrastructure. It is nothing. We are just using it. So this is software as a service. So if we talk about platform as a service. So in platform as a service, AWS provide us platform. Like if first of all, if I talk about its example, then I guess Elastic Beanstalk, I guess, right, come into the category of platform as a
I didn't
service.
study it. You have to tell. I didn't went up to that. You have to tell.
Okay,
Pla-
okay. Yeah, if it Elastic Beanstalk could be example of platform as a service. Like they are providing us a platform where we can run our application, where we just need to put our code, or we
Okay.
just need to take care of our code. Then, like we just don't need to understand the server. We just don't need to understand the backup databases or packages installation etc. We just put our code there, and they are providing us a platform. Our code could be in any language like Java, Python, etc. We just put there our code and we run our code there using a platform like Elastic Beanstalk. So
Okay.
if we talk about infrastructure as a service, so the example that comes to my mind of EC2, like EC2. Yeah, EC2 is an example of which is basically a server that AWS provide us to run our application. Our application. So we use EC2 as an example of infrastructure as a service, where they are providing us infrastructure. Like there we have a full control of each and everything. Like we are selecting operating system, databases, storage, each and everything. We are selecting by ourselves. We are managing it, creating it. They are just providing us a kind of infrastructure. So we have to handle some things by ourselves, by our own. Like we
Okay.
can then run our application on that.
So for infrastructure as service, you gave me example EC2, and for platform as service, you gave me example as Elastic
Beanstalk.
Beanstalk. I didn't study that, so I know about infrastructure. EC2 I am studying right now. So second one you said, and the third one is SaaS, software as service. You gave me Gmail as an example. Okay, so awesome. So these are the models based upon the requirement of the the client will be providing this service if you are working in Amazon.
Yes, we should listen to the requirements of the client, and according to that, we will be selecting a service for them.
So what if a client comes to us and asks us, they'll tell their requirement, and if you are an architect, if you're an engineer, so you will tell them which plan is suits for which service suits for their requirement.
Yes, first of all, they come to us and mention their requirements, what they want, or what are their requirements. Then, after analyzing those requirements, after using different tools, we have also different tools on AWS. Then we will be selecting a proper service model for them. Also comparing their costs. What are their range, in which range they want to use these services. So according after analyzing all these requirements, all these things, we select a proper model for them.
Okay, I got you. So introduction to AWS. What is AWS?
Okay, so AWS is really like, first of all, if we took try to translate or these words AWS, like it is basically, first of all, stands for services, which is basically a cloud service providers. Like if we talk about cloud computing, that what is cloud computing? Now we need to have some platform where we can run our application, where we can work. So AWS is one of the cloud service providers, like others are Microsoft or Azure. So it is also one of them, the best with highest market share cloud service provider, which is providing us the services, providing us the all services which we can use to run our business, run our applications.
Okay, pay as you go model.
Yeah, with pay as you go pricing model. This is the
Okay,
main point.
okay. So what is elastic computing?
Sorry, elastic computing.
Yeah, have you heard about this?
I guess I do not hear about it. Like I can't
So no
recall it.
worries. Okay, no problem. Introduction to AWS products. What are AWS products?
Okay, so if we talk about AWS products, I can't explain it properly. AWS products. In which context or domain you are, like, can you explain it little bit?
I don't know actually. I just muted the side headings of it, so no problem. I'm sure you will
Okay.
know it, but uh, okay. I think how many services are there in AWS? 175.
Yes. I guess around about 200.
Okay. So is it possible for a human being to learn all the services?
Yes, it is possible. It's totally depend upon, our stamina, our brain, our ability. So, yeah, human can learn all this. It is not
Okay.
impossible. We used to say nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. So,
Nice. Nice. So regions and availability zones. You know regions? How many regions are there? How many availability zones are there in the world?
yes, I have idea about this regions and availability zone. So region is basically, as we already talked about it, that uh, there are different regions in different countries, and then availability zones comes under region. Like one region have several availability zones. So I guess if, as you already mentioned, I'm not good with numbers. I just forget about the exact proper numbers of all these. So the region, one region could be, 5 to 6 availability zones. Like I am sure about it. That availability zones comes under regions. I am sure about it. But
Exactly. Correct.
how many regions? Yeah.
Okay. So uh, regions. There are a lot of regions are there in US and like I said, in Europe, in India, and in that under that, you're right. Availability zones will be there under that.
Yeah.
So under
We have to
availability
provide,
zones,
yeah, we have these regions and availability zones to provide, quick services, quick response without any delays. So
okay,
if someone is belongs to, US region, so we will be providing him or her services from this zone. So that would be
okay.
easier with less latency, quick response. So that's why there are lots of availability zones and regions for a quick response and less latency.
So data centers comes under availability zones.
Uh, yeah.
How many data centers will be there in one availability zone? How many data centers will be there in one availability zone?
Okay. How many data centers? It could be two, I guess.
Two or three, I have seen that. I don't know, maybe more also, but I
I
have
guess.
seen. It is called as the global infrastructure of AWS.
Yeah, global infrastructure,
Yeah.
which consists
So
of regions, availability zones, data centers. They all create a global infrastructure.
yeah, under data center there will be POP, point of presence,
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I got this. They're also a point of presence.
which is
POP.
called as a mini data center,
Yes.
which will be very close to the devices and which will be there, which is almost there in every city in the world, almost
Uh,
point of
yeah.
presence,
Yeah.
which is
I
there,
got this
which
point of presence.
the use of that POP is to connect the regions and the availability zones. It connects
Yeah.
regions and availability zones. So and also it is content delivery CDS something. It delivers the content, the website content, the websites, all the information. It delivers. So that is what I learned yesterday. So yeah, I know that's it. So
Okay, that's good.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah. So signing up for AWS, we know that we have to go to AWS
Yeah.
and we have to just signing by giving our credentials.
So, like, there are two ways basically to use AWS services. The first, AWS Educate, which is basically for students who are enrolled to some institute or some university, some colleges, so they can sign up using their educational mail to AWS Educate, so they can also access and practice AWS services, which is basically without credit card. For that, they do not need to use their card. So if but then they are limited with AWS services. They have some limits with AWS services. But the second way to sign up for AWS, they can sign up through direct AWS with by using their card details. So they have no limit to AWS services. They can use all of them with as much as they want without any limit.
So
So yeah,
so
good point.
I started taking the taking an account in AWS by using the free tier account.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
we can use that, right?
for 1 year. Yeah, for 1 year, free tier for 1 year.
Awesome. So introduction to AWS Management Console. What is this?
Yeah, AWS Management Console is basically a kind of interface where we have all the AWS services, with the proper heading. Like under storage, we have all the storage services like Amazon S3 or we have all the storage services, all the database. Under database category, we have all the database services. Under server category, we have all the server services. So it is basically a kind of interface for using AWS services, manage them, and we can see all the services there on AWS Management Console. we can access them through this console, all the services.
Okay, so this is how we should go inside AWS so to see the
Yeah,
services.
to see the services. We can
Okay,
see all the services. We can, access all the services through this console. Just go there,
okay,
uh, look at any service, click it, and then
okay,
start interacting or using.
okay, fine. So, okay, what is EC2 compute service?
Yeah, EC2 is basically, a kind of server which AWS provides to us, a virtual server. EC2, like EC2, we have we call them basically the instances, which are basically the servers. There we have Ubuntu server, Windows server. We have a lot of servers available that we can choose them, we can customize them accordingly, and then we can create an instance, and then we can run our application. Like we can run WordPress on this server. Like we go there, we select any server according to our wish, according to our requirement. Then we can create this, customize it, or then we can start running our application on it. Like simply.
So we can give configuration to that.
Yeah, we can give configuration to them.
Like it is a machine. It is a machine. Instance means it is a machine. So for that machine you need operating system, and you need configuration. You
Uh,
have to give configuration, and
yeah,
there is
we have to. Yeah, it requires, we give it storage, that how much we require RAM, we specify RAM, CPUs, or, database requirement, that how much we need. We totally configure it, customize it according to our need. We attach these resources with them. We attach a key to access it. Like we can access it just with the key that we specify during the creation of the virtual machine. So we just go with it.
do you know the difference between the virtual machine and the physical machine?
Yeah. Physical machine, physical machine is totally a kind of machine that we have. We are using the whole machine. Like we have our computer, we are using them. This is basically our physical machine. We are using our laptop or our computer. So if we divide our this machine into different virtual chunks, so we are allocating these different chunks to different persons. Like we have the one machine, but we are dividing it like using hypervisors. We are dividing it, and then we are allocating them to different persons. Machine is one, but different persons are using it according to their need or customization. So it becomes a virtual machine. Like we are using interacting with the virtual resource.
So for virtual machine, to create an virtual machine, we are taking resources the which are there in the physical data center. We are using
Yeah.
it.
We are using it. They are using different techniques to these data centers. Like according to my knowledge, the hypervisors are basically used to, create virtual chunks of a physical machine, physical data center. So it
Have you
basically
seen?
divide. Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Have you seen physical data centers?
No, not yet, but I wish I wish to watch it, but not yet.
So I have seen the physical data center. If you put a data center in Google, we can see the infrastructure, how the servers are there, how we give power to them, and how many servers are there in a data center. Data center is similar. It's a collection of servers, right? It's collection of servers where we have all the resources, and those physical resources are being distributed through this uh, EC2, right?
Yeah.
So okay, what is hypervisor? We have to install this hypervisor. Is that an operating system or?
Yeah, we have to install this. No. we basically install this. So then it is used to divide our physical machine into different virtual parts or virtual chunks.
So this hypervisor we have to install on the physical data center,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
operating system, the operating system that you said, Ubuntu, Linux, and Windows, all
yeah.
those operating system we will install on the virtual machine,
Yes,
right?
because every virtual part have their own separate operating system, their own CPU, and their own and they are all dependent. We are just dividing our virtual machine using hypervisor, and then these virtual machines would be having their own operating systems, on RAM, on virtual CPUs, etc. So they all are dependent in the modern cloud computing like
How many
nowadays.
virtual machines? Yeah, how many virtual machines can we create on a server?
It is not, we can't specify it, I guess. We can create how many according to the capacity of machine. I guess we can create how many as we want.
Depending on the requirement.
Yeah.
Spinning Windows Linux servers in EC2. Spinning Windows and Linux servers in DC2.
Uh, So in EC2 we have a Linux server, we have a Windows server, we have Ubuntu server. So we have all the servers, we can create them, we can use them. So I am a bit confused about your question, that what you are asking about the Linux server specifically.
Okay, so it is an operating system, and we can use
Yeah.
any operating system to install on a virtual machine.
Yeah, definitely. As I already mentioned, we have different operating systems available there. So we can use according to our need, which one is best suits to our requirement. We can just pick it
Awesome.
up and then
Okay, I got
just
you. Connecting the instances using RDP.
yeah. So so like if we are created our machine, so we need to interact with it, to run our application on it. So we need to interact with our machine. On EC2, we just create a machine; it is in running state. We are not interacting with it. We need to interact with it. So for that purpose, we need different approaches. We can use Putty, which is basically software. We install it, and then we start interacting with our instance using Putty. We can also interact with our instance, start interacting using command line interface or Windows PowerShell. Also use as I already mentioned that while creating our machine, we create a key which is basically used to log into our instance. We create a key, then download it while creating a server. So that key is basically used to log into our instance using any tool, Putty, command prompt, PowerShell, Windows PowerShell. We use this to log into our instance, and then we start interacting with our machine. Like then we can update our machine. We can run install any application on it. Like we can install WordPress on our machine. So after logging into our machine using any tool, Putty, command prompt, or PowerShell.
So Putty and command prompt tool, we can access our own machines through any from anywhere on this planet, from any place.
Sorry, can you
Uh,
repeat?
through you're telling that through this Putty and this command prompt, we will be
Yeah,
accessing
yeah,
our machines, and we can do this from any place in on this planet, right?
yeah. We can access using our local system. Local machine,
Yeah,
through
yeah.
local machine. We can start accessing it. No, from anywhere.
If we have internet, we can access it, right?
If we have internet and if we have the login credential that we just downloaded while creating the server.
And Putty is a browser.
Putty is a software basically. which we
Okay.
download and install
Okay.
on our system, on our local machine.
Connecting instances using RDP means which we connect the instances using this RDP.
Yes, as I mentioned, there are a lot of ways to connect with our instance, with our server. So,
Okay. Okay.
like you mentioned,
Yeah,
we
I
can
got
connect
you.
to server.
I got you. Sorry
Yeah.
to repeat it. So, what is Mobax term and putty?
Sorry, Obex and
Mobax
others?
Mobax term and putty.
Yeah, I basically used Putty to interacting with our instance. So I guess the name that you are mentioning could also be something like Putty, which could basically use to log into our instance. Yeah, it could be.
Okay. So you already worked on it.
Yeah, I basically work with Putty to log
Okay.
in to my instance
Okay.
through
So
Putty
you
or
through putty.
and through command line to PowerShell and through Windows browser. You can also
Okay.
log in.
Okay. So easy to vertical scaling overview and scale up and scale down servers.
Yeah, basically, the scaling matters a lot. Nowadays, like if we are running an application on our server, so suddenly we got a lots of customer, and if we are not proper scaling techniques, then our system could be crashed, could be failed. If we got a lots of traffic suddenly. So now we have some backup planning to control this, sudden traffic. To control this sudden traffic, we use techniques like scale in, scale out, and horizontal scaling, vertical scaling. So we use these techniques to overcome or to control this sudden traffic towards server. So we have basically two main scaling technique: horizontal scaling or vertical scaling. So if we talk about the horizontal scaling. So in horizontal scaling, I guess we increase the number of machines, number of servers. Like we attach some more server with our existing machine, to overcome this sudden traffic. Like if we talk about the vertical scaling, then we increase the size of our existing machine. Like we make it
Okay.
even more bigger. We attach more more storage, more
CPU,
CPU, make it
storage,
bigger,
RAM.
control this traffic.
Okay.
So we use these
Okay.
techniques to control the traffic, sudden traffic. Scale in,
Okay.
scale out. Scale
Okay.
in,
So the
like releasing the resources, scale out, like attaching more resources to our machine.
okay. Okay.
So
It,
these are
it
the,
depends on the
yeah,
traffic, sudden traffic.
yeah, we using the EC2 console, we configure all these details through the console, through EC2 console on AWS. We configure all these resources or all these techniques there to
So
control the sudden traffic.
is there a particular option where we have to do this scaling down and
Yeah,
scaling up?
yeah, we have particular options on AWS console under EC2 console. We have all these options like scaling option. We have a scaling option there where we just specify all these details there. We create all the backup plan there that how to control the sudden traffic. So we specify all things there.
Okay. Nice. Security group basics and implementing security for the real time environments.
Okay, so security is also literally, become a very important, a part or a things nowadays, because as we know, we are facing a lot of security issues. You know, day by day we are getting a lots of hackers. Also, we have
Yeah.
some security issues. For that, we need to secure our system, our application. So the best part of AWS is also like its security is very strong or literally very awesome. So for to secure our server, we basically use security groups for that purpose. Like we create a security groups and then we attach that security group to our virtual machine, our server. So in that security group, we mention some details, or we mention all the things that we need to do with it. Then we attach that security group to our server. So we have also interface for security group configuration. Like we have interface there, we create a security group, we specify all the details about it on this interface, and then we attach it with our server. So we have interface to implement the security groups. That's an
Okay,
important part.
so these security groups we create to secure the machines, the instances.
To secure the machine that um, that no one can access it, who is not authorized. Unauthorized
Okay,
person can't access it, so that they can't damage our machine. For that
okay,
purpose, we attach
okay,
them.
okay. Understanding block level storage using EBS.
Yeah, so we also have EBS, Elastic Block Storage, which is basically another service of AWS like others. So when we create a virtual machine, then we attach or specify some storage to the virtual machine. So by the passage of time, after some time, we need some more space, some more storage for our virtual machine. Like suddenly we just need to attach some more storage to our virtual machine. Then there we will be using Elastic Block Storage, EBS. So then we will be creating some storage, block storage, and then if we then we attach this directly to our machine. If it becomes our need after some time, like to
Okay,
handle more.
okay.
Which,
Based upon the requirement.
okay.
Based upon the requirement.
Yeah, definitely based upon the requirement. With everything on AWS based upon the requirement. If we got a requirement to attach more storage, then we will create a some storage block storage. Then we attach it to our machine.
Okay,
On
I got
AWS,
it.
the best thing is that we have an interface to handle. So everything is literally very easy. We are using an interface to create each and every resources on AWS. We are creating using the interface, and then we are just attaching it to the to anything like to our servers. So it is
Okay,
very easy to deal with the services. To deal with.
awesome. You said a new point. I don't know this, so it's very easy.
Okay.
Okay, so configuring SSD, HDD, magnetic storage for Windows and
Yeah.
Linux servers.
Yes, yes, yes. So as we talk about the elastic block storage, so under elastic block storage we have different storage options, categories, like you mentioned SSD and SSD volume. So we have different categories. So we choose these categories also according to our requirement. So customer specify a requirement that they need SSD storage, or like different other options. So they specify that thing. So we just choose them according to their requirement or their need. We search them that what they want, and then we select one of them.
Same like when we wanted to buy a laptop, we will see it has SSD or HDD. So like that, he will also the client also says that I need this particular storage for
Yeah,
win
client
right.
mention. Yeah, client mention his or her requirement.
Awesome.
That what he wants.
Awesome. So implementing scaling for EBS storage. So you said I think this scaling concept.
Yeah, I mentioned scaling is already something like we already talked about it.
Okay, so configuring volume, snapshot, and volume process.
Yeah, volume snapshot. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, you.
yeah, volume snapshot, volume process.
Yeah, if I talk about the snapshot, then it is something like collecting a backups. So, collecting a backups is also very important part of our business or our application. Like if we are not this basically can prevent us from sudden disasters. If we got some disaster suddenly, then we can use the previous backup to restart our business. So a snapshot is basically creating the backups of the current state of your machine. In EC2, we can create the snapshot of the current state of our machine. Then we can store it separately. So whenever we need to restore that snapshot, then we can create even we can create a machine from this snapshot directly. We can create a machine from that snapshot.
Okay,
New
so
server.
it is a backup.
Yeah, definitely. In simple words, it is a backup. Backup
Okay,
of the current state.
backup of that particular when that the machine got stopped at that particular date and time, the machine we can recover it
Yeah,
with
we
this
can recover
snapshot. With
with
this
this snapshot.
snapshot concept. Okay. Okay. So AWS cost controlling strategies, which is introduction to AWS pricing.
Yeah, we also got AWS pricing model in AWS, which is basically used to control our cost. How we can gain maximum benefits with the little cost. With little cost, how we can gain maximum benefits. So we also have AWS pricing model. AWS pricing model there.
Okay. So understanding AWS pricing, which means can we see all these details on the AWS website? Pricing models.
Yeah, we can see if we go to Google and then we search AWS pricing model, then we will be getting all the details about it. That what is it and how it works.
Okay. Models on demand. Okay. Best practices for cost optimization.
Yeah, this is something like theoretical question. So we can also search about it on matlab AWS website or on Google that what are the best practices to control our cost,
Okay.
or we can
So
control our cost.
what is this VPC? Virtual Amazon Virtual Private Cloud.
Yeah, VPC is basically this is something virtual private cloud. When we are creating our virtual machine or our virtual instance, EC2 instance, that we are also specifying a VPC to our machine, virtual private cloud, which is basically showing that how is, who can access or who can work with our cloud. We are specifying some privacy to our server by using VPC, virtual private cloud. We are using gateways to ensure all these things. So we are also attaching a VPC with our instance, with our virtual machine while creating it. Virtual private cloud, with some privacy requirements, like definitely to secure it from the hackers or with some no one can crash it or use it in a wrong way. So we are also specifying this. We have interface for that on the AWS. We just go there and create a VPC and then subnets. We also use to create subnets and then the VPC, like some things like that.
Okay. So while creating a machine, we will select a VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, which means private.
Yeah,
The name itself says that Virtual Private Cloud. It's a
yeah,
virtual
virtual.
thing and it is private and it's a cloud.
Yeah, it's a cloud, which is basically associated with our particular instance, like which is taking care of our server.
Okay. So in this only there are subtopics: networking basics, IPv4 scheme, and introduction to VPC, public and private IPs, understanding subnetting, uh, Elastic IPs, basic VPC configuration, implementing private and public subnets in VPC, VPC security, inbound and outbound ALC, ACLS, a deep dive into
These
VPC.
Yeah, these all things come under the VPC, like you mentioned, NACL, network access control list, gateways, and all the things that is basically related to the networking, related to the traffic. That some we have some inbound traffic, some outbound traffic rules. We also have these rules on there. So these are basically, we specify that who can access our cloud or our server through the internet, and who can't access it through the internet. So we specify all these the things basically under the VPC, or under the NACL, under the gateways. We mention all the details just to secure our server, our private cloud.
We have particular option called virtual private cloud VPC, and in this
Yeah,
on that what is that Amazon Management Console.
yeah, Amazon Management Control. Under Amazon Management Control, we have the particular option of VPC. So
Okay.
under the VPC, we have all these details we are configuring our VPC. We are creating
Okay.
subnets for
Yeah.
our machine, or we are creating all the stuff under the VPC. Like we have all the details there.
Okay. What is S3 Simple Storage Service?
Yeah, this is basically my favorite service on AWS
Okay.
because it is literally simple, very simple, as its name suggests, simple storage service. So it's really very simple on AWS, and my favorite service.
Wow.
So it is. So it is basically like we can say it works like a drive, like we have a Google Drive.
Yeah.
So it works same way like Google Drive. So we use this basically to store our simple objects, uh, our static images. Basically, we use this to store static data, not data who is changing by the passage of time, automatically changing. So we are used to store our static data. Like we use this to host our static websites. Like if we have our portfolio website, then we use to host our static website using S3 on S3 basically. We can use it to store our static images. We just go there, we have interface, we go there, we create a bucket, which is basically a kind of folder on Google Drive. Like if we are creating a folder on Google Drive, on S3 we are creating a bucket, like folder. Under the bucket we will be storing our data. Like on Drive we are uploading our images under our folder. So on S3 we are uploading our static images or static data under this bucket. So we are also creating a bucket, and then we are uploading our static images, or hosting our static websites using the buckets on S3. So this is basically static data, not a dynamic static data, for basically storing static data.
Storing static data. Okay, S3.
Yeah.
What is Glacier?
Yeah, Glacier. So under S3 we have different categories. We have S3 Glacier, S3 Red. Can you? So do you have the names of the different categories that we have under S3? Like we have different categories of S3. Glacier is also one of them, which is basically, I guess, used to store the backups and the stuff like that. No, if we
Okay,
are taking.
under Glacier, there is a creating vaults, uploading data to vaults, and key differences between S3 and Glacier.
Yeah, these are basically categories. We have some other categories under the S3. These are basically different categories of S3. S3 Glacier is one of them, which is basically
Okay.
the main that we use to store our data on host website. We use S3. So the S3 Glacier and the other some other its categories are I just totally forgot at the moment. So I guess this is basically to store the data which is basically less accessible or which we do access frequently or to store some.
So Elastic File System.
Yeah. So we also have Elastic File System, which is basically sorry. We also have Elastic File System, which is basically one of the AWS services. So this is basically kind of a file system that we use to store our different files and different file in a different category in a different view. So this is a kind, just to store our files could be anything like our simple files, our data files. We just go there. We just start using it by uploading our files, the static files, and
So creating EFS and mounting on Linux servers. So
creating EFS or yeah.
mounting on Linux servers.
Okay, so I actually didn't practice it. So
Okay.
I can't say much about it because I'm not very much sure about it because I didn't practice it. I
Okay.
just use
EFS is
it.
one of the service.
Yeah, one of the service on AWS which is basically used to store our file. Basically a file system, a kind of file system to store different files. We
To
can,
store
I
different
guess, after,
files.
yeah. So we can use it collectively with other services. So we can also do that on AWS with that
Okay.
service.
Okay. And identify identity access management IAM. Is this one of the service
Yeah,
of AWS?
yeah, one of the service on AWS and the most important service like security service. So IAM basically is also a kind of security service, which is basically provide us two-factor authentication on AWS. So we use
Okay.
it for that purpose to create like we have a root account.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a root account and
Yeah,
we
when
need
we
to
are
create.
logging in, we will have
Uh,
two accounts. One is root account and one is another account.
Yeah, one is another account, which is basically a user account, you can say.
Yeah.
So if we are creating a user account from the root account, then we need to specify some permission. We need to attach some permission to that user, that
Okay.
which services and what this user can access. So to mention all these restrictions and all these things, we use basically IAM, Identity Access Management, which is basically used to control all the things, all the users and that which user can access which services and the main thing that it provides which is basically two-factor authentication. So IAM provide two-factor authentication like two-step verification on the
Okay.
AWS. One
Okay.
is through our credentials and second one is through another app like we use on other systems. So this is basically for the another a security set, a kind of.
It is one of the thing which comes under security.
Yeah, definitely.
And root user will give this will give the
Yeah,
access to the normal
yes.
user, the other user.
Yeah, root user basically have the access of the IAM. He has a control to the IAM. He will be
Okay.
using the IAM, basically.
Okay. I got you. So ELB means Elastic Cloud, Elastic Load Balancer.
Yeah, yeah. So Elastic Load Balancer is also something like scaling that we use on EC2. So under the console of EC2, we also have a small option of elastic load balancer (ELB) on the same console of EC2 at the
Okay.
bottom left side. We have the option of elastic load balancer, which is basically definitely used to balance the load on our server. Like we are
Okay.
getting a traffic, and it just distribute the traffic. Used to distribute the traffic to different servers or different machines. So we
Okay.
use this to distribute the traffic over the different virtual machine that we have created on the AWS.
Okay. Which means it is used. It is an service which is used to manage the traffic which comes
Yeah,
to different machines or different servers.
yeah, manage the load, manage the traffic.
Manage the load. Okay.
Yeah.
So with this, what is the advantage of this?
Definitely, it's gonna create a huge difference. We can say like if we are using scaling, to create to create more machines or to destroy the machines which are not in use. So if we are a lot of machines there, so we need to distribute our traffic on that machine. So we need a service which can
Yeah.
distribute. If we got a lot of traffic, so we need a service which can distribute the traffic on that various machines. So elastic load balancer basically perform the function. If we got a lot of traffic, then scaling create lots of machines, some machines, two machines or three machines. So ALB basically distribute that traffic equally on that
Okay.
machines.
Okay. Okay. It's a balancer. It balances.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Right. Okay. Auto scaling means you already said. Auto scaling means the scaling will be done automatically.
Scaling in or scaling out. Auto
Okay.
scaling, scaling is basically performed automatically. When we got a lot of traffic, then it performs automatically on AWS.
Okay.
So this is basically
So
auto scaling.
who will do this auto scaling?
We basically, as mentioned, we have an option of scaling, like on the EC2 console. So there we specify the thing that if the load on our machine goes up the maximum limit, then server needs to so it needs to create some more machine. We specify all these things there according to our requirements. If the load goes up to the limit, then we will be needing more machines. So we mentioned this to AWS, and AWS will definitely create some more machines, allocate some more machines to us. We specify these things there.
So you're telling that we will give before by using a
Yeah,
particular link. We are going to tell that to the
yeah,
server that you have to take only this particular number of traffic. If more than this
yeah,
comes, it should be balanced. And
yeah,
when we give this before, it is automatically. If
yeah.
more traffic comes to that particular machine or to the site, it automatically will do according to what we give before.
Yes, definitely,
Right.
exactly. We we specified before, but when
Okay.
we got a lots of traffic suddenly, then scaling become automatic. It's going to create automatically lots of more machine that we specified. So
Okay.
then in this time it become automatic auto scaling.
Okay. I got you. So route
Okay,
53 means
okay. So before continuing,
yeah.
I would like to ask you a question. May I?
You want to ask me questions?
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. May I?
Yeah, you can. But cloud, I'm asking. I'm learning from you.
No, I'm not gonna ask a question related to cloud. It is
Sure.
a general question. Like,
Sure. You can.
okay, okay. So I wanna ask, can you speak Urdu or Hindi?
I can speak Hindi.
Okay, I have some my colleagues from India who are basically my fellow ambassadors. So I
Okay.
used to talk to them, and they can speak, Hindi, but I'm teaching them Urdu as well. So
Okay.
actually, I was just wanted to ask you that can you speak Urdu or Hindi?
I can speak Hindi, but not fluently. Hyderabad Hindi. I can understand, I can speak, and you will understand my Hindi for sure. And I will understand your Hindi for sure.
Yeah, okay. So can you speak some sentences in Hindi?
Hindi, oh my God.
No, I was just, to creating some change because this discussion, I guess, becoming a little bit
Serious.
bore for people. So
Yeah,
that's why.
boring and serious. Okay, fine. I understood you. So in Hindi, how are you means kaise ho aap? What do you what is your profession means आप क्या करते हो?
Okay,
Uh,
can
yeah,
you ask me a question about AWS in Hindi?
in
You
Hindi.
know, as you are,
इन हिंदी
can you ask?
आप हिंदी आप AWS के बारे में जानते हो क्या?
Oh,
I don't
yes,
know whether it is
जी
correct or not.
मैं Yeah, this is correct.
Okay.
This is correct one. Yeah, so, uh, okay, so let me give you an answer in Urdu.
Okay.
So in Urdu we used to say, uh, जी मैं जानती हूँ मुझे AWS का थोड़ा थोड़ा पता है ज्यादा नहीं पता मैं कोशिश कर रही हूँ सीखने की तो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता सीख जाऊंगी so have you
Yeah,
got me what I understand?
that is Hindi, right? That is not Urdu. That is
Yeah,
Hindi.
Hindi and Urdu are too much similar. Like they are like sister and brother.
Okay, okay,
So these are
okay,
very similar.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Similar. I understood you. I got your answer for the question that I asked you.
Yeah.
You said you know AWS. You know about it so, up to some extent. You're telling that, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. So
Nice.
they are very similar, with little bit difference, but they are very similar. Like
Okay.
yes.
Urdu. You
So
speak Urdu in your college or Hindi or
yeah,
English?
yeah, Urdu. I basically used to speak Urdu in my college or I generally used to speak Urdu normally
Okay.
everywhere. So
In my city, you will find a lot of Muslims. Actually, my city is my city is mostly surrounded with Muslims. Actually, so I'm a professional cricketer. Actually, when I was in college, I used to play cricket, and I played with most of the people who are Muslims, and I am habituated to, while communicating with them. I know, as a leader, as a teammate, I used to communicate. I used to talk with them, so
yeah,
automatically I understood and I know some sentences. But I don't laugh if I speak something wrong.
no issue. You are good at Urdu, so you are good.
Nice. So
Yeah.
Urdu is there in your syllabus, in your
Yes. Yeah.
education.
Yes, till my 12th standard, no, sorry, 10th standard, my whole syllabus was in Urdu. I just read Urdu and Urdu. The one book was in English, just one book till my 10th standard. The one book was
Okay.
in English and the other was all in English. Sorry, Urdu,
Okay.
all were in English. So after my 10th standard, I start reading the English syllabus. So
Okay.
yeah,
I got you.
yeah. My
Nice.
English isn't also very good. I'm not good at English because I didn't got much practice of it. So that's why
Actually,
I'm
if you are technical students, automatically English of ours will be very good. We don't need to go and take the English classes, or we have to study English, because I did videos with the authors who are like completely into English. You know,
So
if you see their English, if you have time, I don't know whether you have time in your busy schedule, but when you have some time, just see some of the videos. The way they talk English, they go with the German people, the German English, the England, and the Canada. We can understand. They are very close to us, to the
yeah, but
Asian English.
uh, uh, the American accent is little bit difficult to understand.
Yeah, yeah, it's not that difficult. Even if you talk for some days, it is not that. If we put our ears on what they are speaking, try to understand the same words that they are using, but the sounding will be different. That's it. The
Yeah,
sound that they're
sound.
like, it's it comes with the practice. It's not
Yes, definitely.
impossible,
Hmm.
and I proved
Definitely.
it.
This. Yeah.
I proved it. It's not impossible, and you have to believe me, because there are 300 people who have exchanged words with me, and they don't know. I have Indian accent, and they're
Yeah.
very good in understanding me, and I'm very good in understanding them. And there is no lagging, or I'm asking questions multiple times to them, or they are asking me multiple times. I'm not understanding you. There is no such thing. It goes like we talking, like we are childhood friends. How we talk, that's how the conversation went. And I came to know that after doing the video. Okay, this is until unless we go and talk with them, we don't know that whether they can understand or we can understand them. If we talk 2 to 3 times, it becomes it's a natural thing. It's a naturally they will understand. So that is what I understood, and that I proved to a lot of people. And I got when I went to this IBM company for the interview, I think maybe 5 or 7 years before, when I my English
Okay.
was not so good, they asked me
Uh,
the American accent. So I
okay.
know English, but that accent is not coming. But today I gave answer for them that you don't need an American accent to communicate or to connect with the American. So
Yes.
that's it.
Yes. So the main thing is that if you are able to convey your message to someone, that is enough. I
Correct.
don't think that accent is matter. Yeah, it's matter. But if you are able to communicate properly, if you are able to deliver your message properly,
Correct.
someone is getting what you are saying. So that is enough, I guess.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
works.
And you are very good in communication, actually.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Because uh, to communicating or interacting with people is just my passion. I loved it. I literally loved it. So that's why I'm just working on it so that I can communicate with more and more people with in a more proper way. So I am working on that. So that's why I thought to talk with you, to have an interview with you, to call with you, so that I can come to know about yourself, or maybe I can gain something, or I can learn something from you. So that's why I got this idea really amazing.
You're
So
using exact words. The sentence framing of yours is very good. The conveying message means, everybody is conveying messages to, their feeling or their thoughts, their ideas. They are telling that, but using the exact words which will tell what exactly they are thinking or they are feeling. You have to search words. You have to find words which will tell exact message to them. So when you are able to frame the sentence using the proper words, other person
yes,
who is expert in English can love to talk with you, spends a lot of time
yes,
to talk with you. They want to talk with the person who is equal to them. When you are
yes,
using proper words, and when you are that is what the communication between two. That is how actually people connect. How people
yes,
connect means, if there is very good communication, connectivity, the connectivity depends on the communication. So if you are very good in you are very good in Urdu, you can connect with the person who is Urdu, and very
yes,
fast than me, because I am not expert in Urdu. But you are because you that is your own language that you have learned from your childhood,
yes.
right? So it's
That is
very easy for
really
you.
my involved.
Yeah, and
So this
English
is
is
really
Yeah,
Yeah.
and English is universally accepted, or universally any person from anywhere on this planet can understand what you're talking. So any person from Spain, Germany, or any person, even you can travel to any country. If you want to travel, you can go, you can communicate, you will get the certification very easily. If you want to move to, you will write, there will be three in the exam. You have IELTS in India. There is an exam called IELTS where you have to write English, the passage that they give, and you have to listen. You have to be a very good listener, and you have to be a
Yes,
very good
definitely.
speaker. Three things.
Yeah.
So listening, speaking, and writing. So writing, we are doing that since our childhood. We know how to write English. And
Yes.
speaking
But
means we feel fear, what other person may think if we use a wrong word. So the only thing the only way to learn English is to speak. That's what
yes,
I think.
definitely. I totally agree with you. We used to listen the phrase that you can't be a good, you can't be a good communicator if you're not a good listener. So
Yeah,
listening matters a lot. Listening to
yeah,
others, then you can be a good communicator or a good
yeah,
speaker.
yeah.
So,
Listening actually
yeah.
solves a lot of problems.
Yes, definitely.
I am
Okay.
a good listener than a speaker. That's why I'm
Uh,
successful.
yes, yes, this is, yes, that's
So,
true.
right, because I believed, I understood that that is the only thing that works. If we are talking continuously, if we are not listening, and it is like one side communication. So, other person will
Communication.
listen for certain extent. After that, he or she feels bored, or feels like, I don't have time to talk, or he is not, or she is not giving me time. So it's useless for me. I'm not just here to listen. I want to speak. It's like complete, you complete, I will talk. Then I will complete,
Yes,
you talk. So when there is equal time distribution, so there will be
yes,
a proper communication between two human beings, and the connection between them also. It can be marriage, or any kind of a connection. Can be mother,
yes,
son. The
definitely.
communication, the communication concept is the only thing, is the only reason why we are connected right now using this
Yeah,
application Skype. Right, the
yeah,
thought came into human mind. We have to connect with other person who is living in other place. So this communication is very important. So if you are very good in
yes,
speaking and writing and listening, it becomes, everything is easy. Technology is very easy if we are very good communicators actually.
yes, definitely. And
Right.
the two-way communication.
Yeah, two-way
Yes,
communication. The other person also, the receiver also
yes,
should be good. It is not that we are good. The other person should also be equal to us. So
yes,
that that is what networking concept is there in that, in the technology.
yes,
So
definitely.
so yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
can I ask?
yes, sure.
There are more eight topics I will ask. It will take like 20 minutes.
Okay, okay.
Is
So,
that okay?
yes, okay. We will try to, I'll try to explain it concisely, not in
Yeah,
more
no
detail
problem.
because,
I understood that.
yeah,
Yeah, no
we
problem.
just just go through these topics one by one.
Yeah. How much time you have?
Okay, I can manage my time. Let's see
Okay.
how much it
I,
goes.
okay. Route 53 and cloud formation on the cloud former, simple notification server SNS, CloudWatch,
Yeah,
and relational database service RDS, and CloudFront and Elastic Beanstalk, and
yeah.
Cloud Trial and AWS application services for certifications. So these are the topics.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. So these are all the services we already discussed. So these are also some services of different categories. So let's start talking about them one by one. The which one is first?
Route 53.
Okay, Route 53. So, Route 53 is something like you can say, like to route the traffic. Route 53 basically used to route the traffic to to different directions. So it works like a domain on Route 53. We already have a domain in free tier that we can use to attach with our machine or any website, or we can also buy a domain through Route 53. So there we will be managing our something related to domain. Like we use the other tools like we have the other tools like can you suggest me a name of some online tool that is basically used for purchasing a domain? I'm not able to recall
Purchasing a
them at
domain.
the
Okay, I have a website.
yeah.
My domain, I have a uh, smart cherries tech website, and I bought that domain in GoDaddy.
Yeah, I got it.
GoDaddy.
Go ahead. So,
Bluehost is
Route
also there.
53, yes, Route 50, the Route 53 is basically something like GoDaddy. So, there we can purchase our domain, where we can use to host our application, or,
Okay.
yes. Like if we have application hosted on S3, we can attach a domain name using Route 53 to our
Okay.
application on S3.
Okay.
So it is basically work like a platform to manage our domains and hosting. So Route 53 works like that.
So it is just like GoDaddy.
GoDaddy, like definitely it sounds like GoDaddy, where we can purchase a domain or attach to our website. Like if we have a website on S3, we can attach our domain using Route 53.
Okay. In GoDaddy, actually, we can buy domains, and we can buy hosting, and we can buy SSL certificate, and
Yeah.
we can buy all these are I bought. I
Or
purchased. We can
yes,
purchase this in Route 53.
yes, definitely. We can do all the stuff on Route 53 as
Okay. So what is Cloud Formation and Cloud Former?
well. Cloud formation or cloud front trail.
Yeah, I think.
Cloud, cloud. We have cloud front, which is basically a content delivery service, which we can use to deliver a content from one region to another region. So if we have created a bucket in US, so if we want to deliver the content from the US to another region, then we will be using CloudFront, which is basically a content delivery service, which deliver our content from one region to another region to in different regions. So we use CloudFront for that purpose. A
So in
service.
in
Yes, we
yeah, go
have.
on.
Yes, we have an like interface on AWS for every service. There we can use them literally very easily. So the service is available. We just need to go there and we can just start using it. All the things, all the stuff is available there. We just start using it. We just need to have a little bit knowledge of that service. Then it becomes easy for us to use it. It's
Awesome.
not a kind of you can say a rocket science. Anyone from a technical domain can
Okay.
learn these services or the AWS very fastly. It's not difficult. If someone is really struggling to work on that, or really want to use these services, so he or she can use literally very easily. So,
Can a mechanical engineer can become a cloud engineer?
I'm not sure a mechanical, but electrical engineer can definitely work. So because I have a little bit knowledge of electrical engineering field as well, so I have a fellow ambassador which who is basically from the electrical engineering domain. He's working with AWS as well, and he's very good at AWS. So I guess electrical engineer can work, but I'm not sure mechanical engineer. So if their domain lie some in some technical side or some technical expertise, like if they have some knowledge of coding, programming, or some technical stuff, so they can also work with it. No issue.
Okay. So you don't need the coding knowledge to manage this AWS
Yeah.
management console or study or get trained as a cloud architect or a cloud engineer.
Yes, not at much level, because for working with AWS, we do not need to have a coding knowledge. But little bit knowledge would be helpful. We have a service called Lambda on AWS.
Okay.
So for that service, we need to have a knowledge of coding. Like we are just writing a code, and that code are executing our different functionalities. So
Okay.
like with some services, we will be needing some coding expertise, but not at much level.
Okay. So what is simple notification service?
Yeah, simple notification service (SNS) basically used to notify us, like if we are creating a budget on AWS, like we create our monthly budget for 2 months budget on AWS. There we need to we need to specify that if our budget goes up this limit, then AWS should notify us about that
Okay.
your budget is going up and up. For that, we will be using SNS to notify us that SNS basically monitoring our usage, our service usage, and how much we are using. Then then suddenly when we are going up the limit, it's just on the spot will be notifying us through our email or any medium that we specify there. So it's
Text
going to
message
notify us.
anyway.
Yeah,
Text
text
message or
message,
email.
email, through email. We mostly use the email for that purpose.
So it is
So to
just
notify us
it is an alert.
that,
It is a
yeah, alert, kind of alert. It gave us alert.
okay. Okay. So what is CloudWatch? Is there any watch?
CloudWatch, CloudWatch, like basically the purpose of CloudWatch is to monitor, monitor our resources on the cloud, that what we are doing, what we are consuming, how much we are consuming, how going our service usage. So it is basically monitoring each and everything that we are performing on AWS. So anytime when we really want to check what we are doing or how much we have consumed, and what is our service usage level. So if we want to check all these stuff, then we just simply go to the console of CloudWatch, and there we will be having the record of each and everything related to our usage on the cloud. So we can watch each and everything in form of graphs. There are graphs available which are basically presenting our usage of the services of AWS. So it is basically,
Yeah, go on.
yeah,
Yeah.
your mic. Yes, now you're audible.
Yeah,
Your mic.
I'm muting it. I'm muting it when you're talking because there is disturbance here.
Okay, okay. So I'm done with CloudWatch. You know,
Okay.
as you mentioned, that basically for the check and balance that what we
So
are doing on AWS.
so CloudWatch is one of the options which will be there in the AWS management console,
Yes, definitely. On AWS Management Console, it's available. We can
where we
search
can
them.
see all the details. It is
Yes.
like monitoring how much is being
Monitoring.
used.
Yeah, it's kind of,
It is like analytics,
yes, definitely analytics.
right? Okay.
Which is basically showing us result in form of graphs.
Okay.
So we can analyze each and
And
everything.
if we see, we can understand, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So what is relational database service? RDS.
Yeah, RDS. So on AWS, we also have some database services available over there. So under the database section on AWS Management Console. Under the database section, we can find RDS, Relational Database Service, which is basically used to store for storage purpose. Like we can search RDS, we can open it, then we can create our RDS database that we can use to perform any actions or any kind of we can run queries on that, and we can create our database on that, store any data, retrieve any data, delete any record. So it is basically used to for the storage purpose. Like we can use for the storage purpose, like if we are working in MySQL, you may have work with MySQL. It is something like MySQL. We are creating database, creating tables, storing records, retrieving records, so deleting records in RDS. So it is basically a storage service that we are using on AWS for the storage purpose.
Okay, it
For
comes
any
under
purpose.
storages. It comes under
Yeah,
storages.
storage. And yes, it comes under storage. We can find easily on AWS Management Console under storage section.
Okay, I got it. CloudFront, actually, you said
Yes, I talked about it.
CDN.
CloudFront, a content delivery service from one region to another region and stuff like that.
So I said you in the beginning that this POP are
Just,
more
but
into the CDNs.
so can you repeat?
This POPs, point of presence, are more into are responsible for CNDs, CDNs. This this
Yes,
content delivery network. This POP's
uh,
work is to
yes,
uh, do this.
and yes, basically used for that purpose. Content CDC. We can
Yeah.
use the point of presence to that.
Okay. So what is Elastic Beanstalk?
Yeah, EBS, Elastic Beanstalk.
Yeah.
I guess I already talked
Yeah. You
about it
said.
at the
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. I
The
got
start.
you.
Yeah,
The
Elastic Beanstalk.
last one is Cloud Trial.
Yes, I know that I have much idea about it, Cloud Trail, but it is something that I actually didn't work with it. So I I won't like to say anything about it because I am
Can I
not sure
say?
about it.
Can I say
Yes,
there are
sure.
three subtopics in that? Introduction to audit, logging by Cloud Trial, creating trials, storing trials logs in S3 buckets.
Okay, so I guess it is something like CloudWatch.
Okay.
I guess something like CloudWatch that we already discussed about. So it
Yeah.
is something
Yeah.
like that for for analyzing or for
Yeah. Correct.
storing the log file,
Logs.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
log that.
Okay.
Yes. If we are having any any issues or something like that, so this could be used for that purpose. CloudTrail. It is
Correct.
something like that for monitoring purpose. It is something.
Very close to that.
Yeah, very close. Little bit no difference.
Okay. So I think I'm done. So the last one is AWS application services for certifications, and SQS overview and implementing polling messages, SWS overview, introduction to Elastic transcoder, introduction to API gateway, introduction of Lambda, implementing a
Hmm.
sample script and executing by Lambda, AWS Direct Connect, Redshift overview.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So we have got lots of more topics.
yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to talk a little bit about AWS Lambda because it's also one of my, little bit favorite service.
Okay,
So AWS Lambda. As I already mentioned, AWS Lambda is basically, related to coding. There we just need to write scripts that what we want to do with AWS services. We just write there. So if we want to, we want the SNS to send a notification on our Gmail. So we will be just coding that on AWS Lambda. We will be writing a functions on AWS Lambda. Then we just using any language. There are lots of language choices available. Like we can write in Java, C Sharp, or NetBeans. So we have lots of choices there. So we just need to write a code over there, and then we will be executing a function, and that Lambda function will be performing a task for us, like creating an SNS and then enabling SNS to send notifications on our Gmail. So it is basically used for that purpose. We just need to write scripts, and then we need that script, and it performs a task for us over there.
Okay. So we don't need scripting knowledge, like coding knowledge, right?
There we need some coding knowledge.
We
We
need.
need there. Yeah, we
Okay.
need there because we will be writing a scripts by our own. So we need to have a little bit knowledge of coding. We can use any language with which we are familiar. Like if we are familiar with Python, then we can write a code in Python. If we have familiarity with Python, so we can write in
Yeah.
Python whatever we want to perform. We can just we just need to script over there, and it's gonna do do that.
So at last, do we need to have knowledge about the operating systems and the deep knowledge about uh, the coding for this certification?
For the Lambda.
No, for this cloud architect or cloud engineer
Okay,
position.
in general. So,
Yeah.
yes, I guess yes, we need to have a knowledge of all the stuff. Like we need to know about the different operating systems, or we need to know about the how the configurations are to be performed, or how the updations are to be performed. In some services, we need to have the knowledge of all that. So yeah, we need to work on that also, like how its infrastructure is working, and how the things are working over there in AWS.
Okay.
So
So
we
you're
need to have
telling, so CSE and IT guys can understand
yeah,
this position, this AWS management console very easily.
definitely the students from the IT background can work easily with the AWS console.
So when you're going to do the 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 certification, the associate level exam, so
Yes.
cloud architect associate level.
So I'm not sure about it, but first of all, actually, I want to have a certification of AWS Cloud Practitioner, the official certification through Amazon. So, as you know, I still need to work more on that. I still need to work more on AWS services to be able to, pass a test of AWS Cloud Practitioner. So, I'm trying. Inshallah, I'll do it very soon. Whenever I feel that I'm able and I can do that, so I'll go for it.
Okay, so we need to have the practical knowledge, the practical knowledge to write to give that exam.
Yes, definitely. We need to have a practical knowledge. So, if we check the course of cloud practitioner or Udemy, there we will be seeing that we need to have a practical knowledge with the most common services of AWS. At least with the common services of AWS, we should have a practical knowledge. Like we should have a knowledge that how to create S3 bucket, how to create EC2 server, how to use AWS Lambda. So these are the basic services. So we need to have a practical knowledge of these services to clear our test.
Okay,
It is basically important
okay. So
because
at last,
you know.
Yeah.
As you know, if we are doing something by hand, or if we are performing practical, then things become even more clear than if we are just reading the theory, or creating an imagination in our mind. Things become blur. So if we are performing something practically by our hands, so things become more clear to us. So definitely, if you go with practical, it's gonna benefit you a lot.
Okay. So, at last, do you have anything to say uh, to the world who watches this video?
Okay, definitely. Definitely, I would love to say. So, first of all, it was really nice meeting to you. It was really nice talking to you. So, as you know, if we are talking with someone who is basically from the other country, it's really feel amazing. So, first of all, thank you so much for having me with you on this call. And secondly, I would like to say one thing, that we all are humans. We all are like sisters and brothers. So we have to live like a family. As you know that in different countries, people just start hating with each other, like they are from different nation, or they are from different color or race. We should grow up from these things. Like uh, we shouldn't be think about the race and the color of someone. We all are human, and we need to understand, or we need to just live with each other happily, and with positivity. So I want to say this to everyone who is watching.
You already told that by doing video with an Indian and who is unknown to you. You already said that. You don't need to tell that again with the words because you are from Pakistan. You already did that. That itself, this video itself, your face and my face and Indian flag and Pakistani flag, and in one visual, that itself
Yes,
sends a message to the world that India and Pakistan, the two human beings are very comfortable in talking about a particular topic
yes,
or about a particular thing in the world, and
yes,
they are spreading the positivity. They are telling world that we have to be together. We are here to live life very happily, and we have to communicate. We have to explore the world, like talking with
yes,
other country people. So that you already did
yes,
that. You came out from the comfort zone, and when you accepted my request, that itself says that you're beyond a lot of ordinary thinking people who are into all that things that you said before. You uh, you already proved it. You are
yes.
inspiration, and I'll take your interview when you put a company, or when you become a CEO of a company, or when you have your own cloud like Amazon cloud. Maybe you will have your own cloud.
Yes.
I will take your interview if
Yes.
you give me time of yours again on that day.
So definitely, I'll do that, inshallah, one day. So I just want that everyone should do that. Everyone should come out their comfort zone, and they should live with positive thoughts, with positive heart, because we are here in this world just for a some time, for a temporary purpose. We are not, we do not have to be there. We are immortal, so we have to go go up for one day. So we should understand this thing, that nothing is more than humanity. So we should live with a positive thoughts, with a positivity, spread positivity, be positive. So and this really matters a lot, to have a positive
So,
thought, positive things.
do you have any personal blog or website or any links of yours? I will. If do you have anything that with which you want to share or you want to connect? I will put the links in the description of this video if you want. If not, it's okay.
Yes, sure. I'll share with you. I have my basically, I have a kind of artistic mind also. So I used to do some artistic kind of stuff, like working with graphic designing is also kind of, you can say, my interest, or my passion to work with graphics. So I have my Facebook page related to the graphic designing. I have my
Wow.
YouTube channel.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll be happy if you if you can do a favor for me. So that would be
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. I'll put all the links of yours in the description of this video. People who finds our video are, learn something from our conversation. Uh, uh, I'll put this clip in the my podcast also. I have podcast also. I'll put
Uh,
in the podcast. People who listens to our conversation will find your links. And can you spell it for the podcast people?
what I have to spell?
Yeah, you have to spell your YouTube channel name and the creative the graphic design that you are doing, that one.
Okay. So I have my YouTube channel and my Facebook page by the name Varda Creates. Warda Creates. Varda Creates. So I have my channel of the same name. So anyone can find me by just searching Varda Creates. So on YouTube and on Facebook as well.
So I want your YouTube to go all over the world. I want your designs to be reached all over the world. I'm sure my subscribers from all the countries will know you now. They will also see what creative things that you're doing, and I'm sure they may
Yeah.
connect with your creativity.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be really great. And I would like to say thanks to you for that. So,
So,
yeah.
at
So,
last, have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
not on YouTube, but I watched some of your videos, short videos on Instagram. I didn't got much time to check your YouTube channel, but I really watch your videos on Instagram, short videos, and that's why I got that you are doing an amazing work, and I should also try that with you. So I watched the Instagram videos of yours.
So, what is your personal opinion on my content that you saw?
That is really amazing. As I already mentioned, you are doing something unique. You are the one whom I saw doing the stuff like that. So you are doing literally the unique thing, different from others. So I would like to say, I appreciate your efforts, and I would like to say best of luck to you for your future endeavors and everything. So,
Thank you very much for your kind words and the beautiful words. I will remember all my life, and I will remember that I had conversation with the person who lives in Pakistan for the first time in my life on this day. This is going to be one of the biggest memories of mine.
yeah, literally, it's going to be a big memory for me too, because it was really a great time. I just don't remember how it just was more than 1 hour while
Yeah.
talking to you. So I just don't feel that time, that how it passed. It was really a great time.
So, can I put this clip on my YouTube channel, on social media, on internet, on podcast, everywhere with your permission?
Yes, sure. You can put. I don't have any issue about that. So
Okay.
that would be
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. In future, if you want to spread any positive message, or if you want to tell some content that you're creating, or if you want anything that to be promoted, that if I have ability to share, so definitely I will share. I will not be in India. I'm going to work in Canada. So even if I am there, my social and accounts will be there. You can connect, and I can do that. I love doing this.
Okay, sure, sure. At the end, I want to say something about the the women empowerment. So
Yeah.
the word women empowerment is literally becoming everyone is just talking about the women empowerment. So I just want to say my few words about that. So according to me, the women empowerment is something like enabling the women to lead the society in a positive way by living in their limits. Like, everyone is talking about the women empowerment, but they are misleading this concept, the women empowerment. They are doing something else by using the word women empowerment. The something that is correct about this concept is you need to enable the women to talk in front of anyone openly, freely, without any fears, and you have to make the women so that they can lead the society. They can be a leader of the society. So this is something that we need to focus on. That we need to make the women independent in a positive, proper way. By keeping in their limits, not out of their limits. We have some limits for the women. So women should lead the society, work on the women empowerment by by living in their limits. They can do anything by having in their limits for the society or for everyone. So we just need to, re-understand the meaning of women empowerment. This is, I guess, literally very important for all of us, for all the women in the world. So I want the people to understand the correct meaning of the women empowerment.
So definitely your constructive thoughts and the developing thoughts, the thoughts that you said about women, which is very important, and for which a lot of organizations in the world and a lot of women are fighting for, and you raised about it. This is fantastic. This everybody should think that whatever you said is 100% true. Women should be treated equally, and women is not less than men or any other gender. So
Yes,
every human being is equal in the world. So what you said is beautiful at last.
yes, they should be confident about themselves. They should have a trust on themselves that they can do everything by keeping in their limits.
Correct.
So that is the thing that they need to remember.
So if every woman starts thinking like you and starts talking like you, I'm sure the beautiful world is not very far.
Very fun. Yes, definitely.
Right. It's a good message. It's a fantastic message that you said at last. So
Thank
thank
you.
you again. Thank you again for your 1 hour 56 minutes time and for your knowledge. And you gave me your knowledge. I understood about a lot of concepts, and not only this putting in public. Me, I'm preparing for it. It is very useful for me now. My perspective on those services will be different. I will see in a very easy way after this conversation. So it's very useful for me, and a lot of people who watches and who are connected with cloud, they will get a lot of information from you. And you're very good in communication. You're very clear. You are talking. You're very clear about the services, and your English is very good. So I understood it very fast.
Thank you so much. I'm literally very happy after listening that you got my points and you got
Yes,
my words. I'm
yes.
really
So keep doing that creative work that you are doing. Do more. Show your more
yeah,
skills. Show your more skills and contribute more to the world. Your
yes,
contribution is very
definitely.
important to the world. Your words and your not only the technical skills, also this woman empowerment, these other skills that other thoughts that you have, which are very beneficial for the development of the society, country, world. You have to do this, and I'm sure you will do this.
Yes, definitely. I'll try my best to contribute my part in the society. I'll definitely do that.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.